You've worked hard to build a dream retirement. Now it's time to put that plan into action. This is Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker. The team at Vincent Financial wants to help you build, protect, and grow income to get you to and through retirement. Now, Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker.
This is the Retire ATL podcast, all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. You can get more when you visit retireatlradio.com. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Now, let's get to the show. My name is Mark Owens, and Aaron, congratulations. I didn't know, first and foremost, you are a hunter. You enjoy the sports.
You what?
Indeed.
How dare you?
I don't know how you didn't know that.
It was a good week for you.
It was a great week. Yes, I am a bow hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I like to hunt using archery, and I love it. And it is that time of year. And I shot my biggest buck of my life just the other day. And I'm still on a high.
All right, so educate me. I'm not a hunter. When you say the biggest buck of your life, what do you mean? How large was this bad boy?
There's a way to score the antlers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's measuring inches and all this kind of stuff. And I don't really get into that too much, but it was an 8-point buck, but it was a huge one. And
Yeah.
if I had social media, I don't have it.
Right.
I don't, and that's one of the best decisions I've ever made is to get rid of all that.
Amen.
I would post it,
Right.
but I don't have it. But just imagine.
Maybe we could post it to the Retire ATL page.
We could do that.
It's on the homepage, the first
We
thing
could
you
put
see.
it on our website. No, it's a big accomplishment in archery. At least I feel like it is.
Mm-hmm.
So watch out.
So watch out.
Here's all I know about hunting.
Okay.
My cousin took me way back in the day.
Okay.
And we sat in a deer stand for what felt like 47 hours.
Yeah.
It was the most boring day of my life, and I vowed never to do that again because I had to be quiet, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was bored, and I didn't even hear. Okay, no, we're fine.
What you just described sounds awesome to
Yeah,
me.
you were in the sweet spot. You didn't know it.
You didn't even know it.
Okay, no,
No.
that's nothing.
Yeah, so there's
Horrible.
to hunt a deer like this in our area. I mean, this is Metro Atlanta. I didn't drive 3 hours away to hunt this deer.
It was his front yard. That was a crazy
It was off
part.
my deck. I was in my underwear. No, that's not true. I was in a tree stand, but I've probably, if you count drive time and just work time and scouting time and all this stuff, I've probably got 50 hours. And the season just started a couple weeks ago
Right.
of time hunting this one deer, not hunting in general. And that's in the
So you've
midst
been
of,
stalking this one.
yeah, you could say that.
That's fantastic.
Because for me, at least, I've got to get the deer within 30-ish yards to feel comfortable shooting it with my bow. And that's not easy to do because their senses are primed to make sure that doesn't happen.
What did this deer say to you for you to stalk it for this long?
He
Must
just
have really upset you.
he looked me deep in the eyes, one of my trail cam pictures, and said, "You can't get me."
You can't bring it
He
on, you
challenged
son of a gun.
He challenged my manhood.
Well, if you want to meet Matthew Decker, Aaron Vincent, and the deer, they're all available at the home office of the Vincent Financial Group. He can't take it home, so he's got it propped up
It'll
in the
be
lobby.
on the wall at the office at some point.
I love that. Good on you. RetireATLradio.com to meet the team, or keep this number close, 770-741-0120. Again, 770-741-0120. Let's get to it because speaking of the phone number, got a call a couple of weeks ago from a young lady from Metro Atlanta. Names will be protected. But what she had to say was fascinating because the gist of the call was, I'm calling for my ex-husband. He's got a very substantial 401k, 7-figure 401k. And she said, he's not going to call. I'm calling for him because I know he needs some help. She goes, I'm worried about him, and I'm worried about our kids, and I'm worried about our grandkids. So let's begin this conversation. And I'm just taking notes going, there are so many layers to this
Lots of
phone
layers.
call.
Oh yeah.
So
Maybe even some minds in the field. Got to be careful.
maybe some therapy as well. But it was a fascinating because 401k, substantial 401k, good for him. Legacy planning, kids and the grandkids, relationships together, and then the evil conversation about gray divorce. Matt, where do you start with that?
Man, well, first, we need to know, does he want help?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, if you don't want the help, we always talk about how our biggest competitor, there's a lot of people in the Metro Atlanta area that do a great job. And some people ask us.
Well, I mean,
They do a
No,
job.
there are.
770-741-0120.
There's a lot of people that do a great job with financial planning and money management and all of that. And so we get the question sometimes like, who's your biggest competitor? And without a question, by a margin that's so wide it's laughable, our biggest competitor is doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Just people who don't do anything.
Inertia. It's
Inertia.
been too easy to do nothing for this long.
Yep. So let me just continue doing nothing. Or it's been good. That what I have been doing has been working.
Yeah, I shouldn't say nothing.
And I see kind of what your point is. I see what you're getting at, but
This has worked for me so far.
It's worked for me, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Our biggest competitor is doing nothing. So I would say in that situation, we got to know, hey, thanks so much for calling.
Sure.
However, does he actually want help? Because if he doesn't, there's not going to be anything that we can say that's going to change his mind enough for him to want to actually make a move. He's got to want to make a move for himself. Can't just do what we've always been doing.
Yeah, on that note, good on her. I mean, I would say people ask us all the time also, hey, give me an idea. What's one of the most common characteristics of your most happy clients or the ones that retire the most successfully or whatever it is? And that characteristic isn't they're super smart or they were uber successful and made tons of money or they started saving when they were 9 years old, or it's not that kind of stuff that you would think of. The most common characteristic, I would say, that's the most kind of least common denominator is they are decisive.
Yeah.
They feel something, they see something, they are made aware of something, and they do something about it. I mean, there are tons and tons of studies just in psychology in general, even outside of our space, about how even if you don't get it perfect, even, not getting, paralysis from analysis, avoiding that and just doing something, even if it's not the perfect thing, which would have taken you years and years and years and years to get to, doing something that's good now is better than something perfect 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. And that decisive kind of mentality, which this lady who called in, she did something about it. She picked up the phone and she called. Now, does her ex-husband follow through? Is it a good fit? I mean, who knows? But I can tell you one thing, that she made progress in that moment that otherwise would not have happened.
Let's talk about couples that are together. Do you recommend that in a relationship that I make the phone call and say, listen, my wife doesn't really care about the 401k and the Roth and all that, so let me just come in and begin this? Or do you say, no, both of you need to be on that same page?
We have both situations. That's a kind of a couple dynamic. I would say it's ideal if both are on the same page.
Absolutely.
For sure. Like because there's big decisions to be made.
Or at least in the same room.
Yeah.
They don't have to be on the same page necessarily, but they got to both be in the room knowing what the decisions are that need to be made so that they both have an idea of what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah. And so even though that's ideal and we would always recommend that and we kind of push for that, there are lots of people that we talk to, even clients of ours, who are like, listen, the way we handle our house is that she deals with X and I deal with Y, and, Y is the money. And so that's just the way it goes. So we can work with that, but it's ideal to be together.
RetireATLradio.com or 770-741-0120. Let's talk a little bit about legacy here, because she said she's calling for the kids and the grandkids. And I was thinking, we've had this conversation recently about the great wealth transfer. What, over the next 10 years, $85 trillion is going to be passed down from the boomers.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So if I know that I'm in line for that and I know an inheritance is in my future, how do I prepare for that? Because I think you've said it before that we get an inheritance windfall of money, and we're not talking trillions. We're talking a substantial amount. It's gone in 18 months. How do you help people prepare for what could be an inheritance on their way?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. There's a few pieces to that. One of the things that we are always talking about is taxes. Now, taxes apply in different ways in different situations. One of the things that can make such an amazing blessing and such an awesome situation to get an inheritance, man, what a situation for your parents or grandparents or someone to work hard, save, put money away to the extent where it's more than they needed, or something happened and you get to inherit that. That's a blessing. Well, if not planned for, it can also become a curse.
Should we talk a little bit about like Secure Act, maybe?
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going.
Okay,
I think
go
we
ahead.
should, for sure. So what year was the Secure Act in the teens?
Well, we've had the 1.0 and the 2.0, so we've had a couple variations
it didn't really
of Secure
matter.
Act.
But one of the things in the Secure Act, by the way, it made none of us any more secure.
I feel more secure.
Yeah. One of the many things in there was this idea of changing the way an inherited IRA is taxed. So, Mark, of the trillions and trillions of dollars that are going to be inherited at some point, a big chunk of that is IRA, 401k, like any kind of tax-deferred employer-sponsored plan.
SEP, Simple, 403B, TSP, all the letters and acronyms.
Yeah. You pass away with a 401k, your wife or your kids or inherits it. It's still a 401k. It's still tax-deferred. Uncle Sam still wants their tax as well. In years past, if you inherit that kind of thing, you get to take out your required distributions over your entire life expectancy, like into your 80s.
Right.
And we're talking non-spouse.
Yeah.
So
true.
if Aaron passes away, Jessica gets everything, it's all good.
Right.
But if Aaron passes away and wants to give his IRA to his daughter, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
A non-spousal inherited IRA. Getting an IRA from your parents.
Yeah.
For
To
example.
that point, there are going to be some finer points we're not going to have time to discuss here, but that's a good point in kind of conceptual being. All of that category of money, tens of trillions. The Secure Act changed it to where now if you inherit that, you have to spend that down over 10 years. No longer do you have the opportunity to spend it down over your entire lifetime. It's over 10 years. So that, if you do the math, let's say you're in your 50s when you inherit this, and you're already earning, you're typically in your biggest earning years of your life, 50s and 60s. So you're earning well, you're still working, then you inherit an IRA, and now you have to spend that down. Let's just say it's $1 million. Well, now you have $100,000, $1 million divided by 10, $100,000 each year added to your earned income.
Because it's ordinary income.
Because ordinary income.
If you make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
What if your W-2 is $100K? Your W-2 is $100K. You inherit this $1 million IRA, and you're thinking, this is beautiful, this is wonderful. Right. And overnight, mandated by the government, your taxes have more than doubled.
By the way, if this is interesting to you at all, our number here, 770-741-0120. But so that's exactly right, Matt. And so the idea is, Mark, you asked the question, how do you plan? Well, taxes, we could beat this drum all day long. Taxes and the Secure Act and the way that the government can increase taxes without actually increasing the tax brackets. I'm using air quotes that you can't see on the radio here, but that's an example of it buried deep in this bill that was called the what? The Secure Act.
I feel so safe.
Yeah. And so how do we plan for it? Number one is, what's the plan to mitigate taxes? Listen, I don't care how good of an investor you are if you're a DIYer. I don't care if you really believe in your current financial advisor or wealth manager, or I don't care if you're ready to call us because you want us to do it. I hope that's what it is. But the point is, you can't out-return the tax brackets. It's just not going to happen. That's a game that the IRS has spent lots and lots of time and money and effort to figure out this game. And if you don't exit that game and create kind of your own situation, you'll fall into theirs. And it's not a good place to be.
Speaking of the taxes and the game, we haven't always had an income tax. Mm-hmm. Most people don't know that. Income tax started in 1913. When it first was put into place, it was 4 pages long. Like if you wanted to do your taxes, you had 4 pages of reference material. 4 pages of reference material.
They had wooden teeth back then.
Guess how many pages there are today? Again, back to your point, it's a game.
Do you know? Do you know the right answer?
I do know the right answer.
I
know the approximate answer.
Matt's read every page.
I haven't.
13,000 pages.
Okay. How many pages do you think it is, Aaron?
2,500.
2,500 pages?
Yeah.
Okay. So Aaron said you got to know the game, right? You got to know the game. If you don't know the game, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get sucked into their game. Right now, over 4 million words and 85,000 pages.
Oh, I thought you said chapter 1.
Oh, is that what you thought I said? Chapter? You didn't know I was talking about the whole thing.
The whole book.
The whole Oh, sorry. My bad. You're right. Yeah. No, 85,000, over 85,000 pages and over 4 million words in the tax code right now. And if you don't know what's in those pages, you are just not set up for success. So our question to you would be, what's possible for you? Because you better believe that in those pages, there are some games being played. You think that, a couple of years ago, Donald Trump, the big thing was like he paid no taxes and everybody was up in arms. Look, I've looked at Donald Trump's tax returns and he did great. Like he followed, he knew what was in those 85,000 pages.
Yeah.
And he hired someone to go make use of the games contained in those 85,000 pages, and he did it all above board. And so if you don't know what's in there, you will pay more in taxes than you have to pay. If you know what's in there, or if you hire someone who knows what's in there are ways that they can improve your situation. But you got to engage in this level of planning.
Go to retireatlradio.com to download Matt's ebook reading you the entire IRS tax code.
If you start it today, it'll be done by 2037. So what you're saying, instead of complaining about someone who knows how to play the game and understands the system, I don't know, maybe reach out to somebody.
Learn how to play the game.
Help you play the game.
Learn how to play the game.
System. 770-741-0120. We say it every weekend here on Retire ATL. It's all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. Always talking about the 3 key pillars in retirement planning: risk, income, and taxes. 741-0120, or you can reach out online at retireatlradio.com. All right, one more layer we're talking about a great phone call we got a couple of weeks ago from a young lady looking for some help for her ex-husband. He had a substantial 401k, looking to make sure the grandkids are taken care of as well. I think it has something to do with a gray divorce. And we've talked about that before on the show. And every time it gets uncomfortable, it gets negative, there's no happy spin on divorce. But in this situation, Matt, it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. It sounds like that she has his best interest in mind as well.
Did you say The Great Divorce, the book by C.S. Lewis? That's a phenomenal book.
Gray or gray?
Oh, gray.
I'm just playing.
Gray.
I want to be the
gray divorce.
There are some people that walk out of the courtroom going, "It's a great day today."
As in, it's not black and white; it's gray. It's like it's kind of like,
or it's like gray hair. You got divorced when you had some gray hair.
I see.
So that's originally where gray divorce came from,
right?
Because a lot of people in their 60s get divorced once
Didn't
they
know
retire.
Yeah, you wake up and all you had in common was your kids.
Did I teach you something today?
You sure did.
All the kids get out of school, get out of the house, and they realize they're looking at the same two people every day, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Wow.
I'm happy.
That's
where gray divorce comes from.
I mean, there are certainly situations, and we have clients where they've gone through a divorce and they feel better off on the other side of that divorce. So, yeah, it doesn't always have to be the worst thing in the world, although I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think that people engage in marriage knowing,
right,
40 years down the road, like this is going to end, and it's going to end gray.
Okay, got my retirement date here and my divorce date here.
Right. So I don't think anybody sets out to get divorced from the get-go, but it happens, and there are certainly, going through that process, we had a client that went through it basically all of 2023 and 24, and she's just now getting dollars from qualified accounts because, you're dealing with the court system. Judges see something, they're like, oh, that's not right. Now your thing is at the bottom of the pile again. And so she had to go through that a few times. But I will say, if you are going through divorce, there are definitely things that you should be paying attention to. We talked about the 85,000 pages in the tax code and 4 million words. There are things with divorce and splitting up of assets, especially if your spouse has like a pension.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of little squirrely things in there that you definitely do need an advocate financially. And if you don't have one, I would encourage you to find one that you trust and get one. But yeah, it doesn't have to be the worst day in the world. It can be gray.
And there are situations where,
great.
We aren't attorneys, so we're not writing trusts, and we aren't,
sure,
but we work with them.
Mm-hmm.
We have great ones all across the city that we like to work with. But there are times when some kind of higher level planning changes everything and really solves some problems that you can't solve just by changing beneficiaries or whatever the quadro spells out in your divorce decree, all that kind of stuff. So there are definitely some things that, it doesn't take 85,000 pages worth of research. There are some high points we can kind of go through, but without question, there are things to do that can make this a much softer landing.
770-741-0120. Again, they are not state attorneys. They're not lawyers. They're not marriage therapists, but they are here to answer your questions about your financial future. And, to put a kind of a bow on it, good for this young lady for making the phone call. Whether she was doing it because she really was worried about her ex and the kids and the grandkids, maybe she was being selfish. But the fact that she just picked up the phone to make the call makes me realize that at least it's on her mind.
I do think that one of the big key pieces that a lot of people miss when going through divorce is, if you have kids, especially kids and grandkids, now you're each in charge of your own estate.
Yeah.
And so, man, we talk about beneficiary designations all the time. In fact, that's one of the things we talk about every time someone comes in for a quarterly review, which we do with all of our clients. What are your beneficiaries? What's going on there? Is it still what it needs to be? You get divorced, and now you got to make sure that you are coordinating who's getting what, like which kids are getting what, which grandkids are getting what, because I'm giving money and now you're giving money, and we're not on the same page, probably, more than likely. And so there is a level of planning that needs to take place, and there's a level of communication that needs to take place to make sure that, like, Johnny doesn't get all the money and, Lucy's left with nothing because mom and dad didn't talk about it, or dad forgot to change the beneficiaries on his life insurance policies when they got divorced. Like, that happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And so I would say going through that, you definitely need to make sure you're on the ball as it relates to beneficiary designations.
Social security implications. There's a lot of layers to this, and it's common. And so I think having someone in your corner that knows what questions to ask, what documents to ask for, kind of knows how to steer this, every situation's different. Some of these divorces are amicable and some of them are messy and not fun and all that kind of stuff. But asking these questions, thinking about it oftentimes is very helpful with a little bit of a one step back. I'm not in this. I don't have the emotions, swirling around. I can kind of see things a little bit more clearly. I think those things are pretty helpful.
Again, that number 770-741-0120. But we get calls every single weekend from people asking about their tax strategy, asking about how am I going to have income in retirement. And I know, Matt, that we get calls from people that just say, where am I? How am I doing? This time of the year, because it's kind of weird to think we're in the fourth quarter of this year.
Isn't that wild?
What are people talking about? What are you working on the most right now at the Vincent Financial Group?
Well, I think a lot of people are coming to us. Well, I know because we talk to them. They're coming in and they want to know, where am I? Mm-hmm. And how are things going? Like, am I poised for the next 5 years? Or do I still have the portfolio of a 40-year-old or a 30-year-old? And so there's a lot of uncertainty with the markets right now. And we talk about it all the time, and maybe this is why people are coming in talking about it. They want to know, like, am I in the zone? Like, am I in that window? Am I in that transition window when I should really be taking seriously, I'm no longer doing my accumulating of dollars. I've done most of that. I'm entering into it's time to protect my dollars and set myself up for income planning. So there's a window of time there. There's a transition window where you've done the bulk of your savings. And you got to be careful that you're not late to the game, that you're not late to the party of recognizing that you're in that transition window. It's about time to start do some income planning, and you got to get your ducks in a row. And you only have a finite amount of time to do that. And the sooner that you engage in that level of planning, the better your outcomes are.
If you're reaching that retirement window age, that means you're probably in your 50s or 60s, and you've learned one of the most difficult, important lessons to learn, that is managing expectations in life is one of the keys to success. And people just want to know, what can I expect? They call I know what I've done. I know where I'm at. What can I expect this to do for me? If you have that question, let us know.
And you can expect somebody to be there to answer the phone right now. If you have a question about your financial future, 770-741-0120.
Insurance products are offered through the Insurance Business Advanced Planning Group. Vincent Financial Group is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Advanced Planning Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Advanced Planning Group and IPW are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be constructed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Vincent Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Vincent Financial Group. This podcast is a paid placement.